Today on TOKKANTE, we're looking at 5 options for 5 great divers under and up to $5,000. So there are tons of options out there, from Seiko to Tudor to Omega, but why limit yourself to all the usual suspects? I want you to look beyond that and look at the unusual. So today we're going to be looking at 5 great German divers at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and right below $5,000. Hi everyone and welcome, I'm Ben. So yes, there are like thousands of options out there, from Seiko to many Swiss brands for great divers under 5K. So from the top of my head, of course, I'm thinking about the Seiko Tuna, or maybe an Oris Aquis 400, and the 41.5 mil just came out like last week. Black Bay, Tudor Black Bay, there are lots of options there, but let's say the Black Bay 58, or even the Black Bay Ceramic Master Chronometer that just came out, or even an Omega 300M, which is a little above 5K, but you can definitely get it below 5K after discount. So those are all great options, and I would be happy with any one of them. But why limit yourself to all those usual suspects that you always see on social media? Everyone posts about the same watches, and therefore everyone desires the same watches. But here on TOKKANTE, we love German watches. So I want to look at those options for you. So why German? German, there's one thing they're good at, is engineering. So German watchmaking offers a lot of value for money. I've made a separate video, which you can watch here, talking about how watch brands offer the same or even better value for money than their Swiss counterparts. So the good rule of thumb is that more money will buy you more watch up to a certain point. However, there's a lot of value that can be had under $5,000. And I think here at TOKKANTE, I'm trying to look at the sweet spot between maybe $2,000 to $5,000 and see how much watch we can get for that amount of money. And by looking at German watches, I think we can get a lot of watch for that money. So the first option we're looking at is the Mühle Glashütte ProMare Go, which goes for $2,250, but after discount, I'm sure you can get it below $2,000. So that's a great option if you're looking for the classical look. If you like the Tudor Black Bay 58 in blue, for example, and you can't quite stretch to the $3,700 budget, then look at this one. It's a little more modern in size. It's 42 mil diameter, but it's only 12.2 thick, or thin in that case. That's because there's a Sellita SW200 in it, which is okay, I think, for the price, and it's still 300 meter water resistant. It has a bi-directional bezel like the early divers of the 60s. For example, the Omega 300 had a bi-directional bezel, or even now the Rolex Yachtmaster still has a bi-directional bezel. So it has a 22 mil lug width, and it comes with a leather strap with a rubber lining in it, so it gives him that modern edge to it. So I think that one, for 2K, you can't beat it. It's a great option, and it has this look that will not go out of fashion. It has that very good classical look to it. The second option is from Sinn. It's the Sinn UX SGS G9. So this specific model I'm going to be talking about comes at $3,130 on watch buys, but you can find other versions of the same model starting at about $2,500. Sinn is one of my all-time favorite German brands for what they can offer for the money. I've made a separate video about Sinn and why people love Sinn. You can watch that here. So this specific model is one that I had not mentioned in my top 3 Sinns of all time, because at the time I did not consider it because it's a quartz watch. However, I've changed my mind about that, and it's not just any regular old quartz. This is kind of a super quartz. It is temperature stabilized, and the fact that it is quartz allows Sinn to use the hydro technology in it, which we'll talk about a bit later. So this is the official watch of the German Special Operation Forces. There's a very cool story about the Special Operation Forces. You can look at it online, and they actually use this watch in operations. So that watch, unbelievably, is water resistant to 5,000 meters. Now, I have to say, I think only the watch is water resistant to 5,000. I think the movement stops working at 2,000, but if you could ever make it that deep and come back, you could just swap the movement in and the watch is good to go. So the watch is 44 mil in diameter by 13.3 thick, but it doesn't wear like a huge watch. Yes, it's a large watch, but a 44 wears actually quite well. And when you can, imagine that it's 5,000 meter water resistant for only 13.3 thick, that's crazy. Another thing is that this watch is made of German U-boat steel, which is anti-magnetic and salt water and completely corrosion resistant. So a lot of Sinn or Damasko watches, diver watches, are made of that German steel. Now it also comes with 6 of Sinn technologies. I've talked about those technologies in the other video, so go watch that. The first one is the hydro technology. The watch is actually oil filled, which is only possible to do with a quartz movement, which is why the watch is quartz. And hydro, what that allows you to do is basically to look at the time from any angle, at any depth, and it looks exactly as if you were looking at it right from the top. It looks kind of like basically an Apple Watch or a digital watch. It's something you have to see. Also, it has the tegiment technology, so that's a hardening process of the steel, the U-boat steel already being a little harder than regular stainless steel, but then they use the tegiment technology to make it harder. And then the other technology on top of that is the black hard coating, which is really, really hard. So basically using tegiment and the black hard coating, the watch is almost as hard as ceramic. Not quite, but almost. So it will last for many years, hopefully without any dent or scratches on it. Then it has a captive bezel, kind of like what Breitling is using. The captive bezel on the UX is actually the best bezel action of all the divers of the Sinn range. And then it has the D3 crown technology, the pusher technology, which is moisture and dust proof. So this is just a watch that is full of tech. I don't think I've seen any other diver that goes deeper than 5,000 meters. Let me know in the comments if you know. It's just a very geeky, techy watch, like if you're into Sinn. Now, if the UX is a no-go for you just because it's a quartz watch, and that's okay, then look at the U1 and the U2 and the U50. The U1 is an icon for Sinn, no need for introduction. The U2 is the GMT version of the U1. They are both 44, so still quite big, but also look at the U50, which is 41 mil by 11.15 thick. So this one wears much better as an everyday, like daily kind of watch. Comes with a Sellita SW300 in it. And this one has been very, very popular for Sinn. Our third diver is a Damasko D-Sub 50 at $2,650 US. So just a quick note on the lighting, I'm sure you'll notice it's quite different. It's because apparently I forgot to record this segment when I was editing my video last night. I realized that I was missing the entire Damasko segment. And I did it in front of the camera, but probably I forgot to press the button. So I'm doing it again at night. This is a brand new model that came out last month in May 2021. So Damasko is a brand that has similar design language and even technology to Sinn. They don't use the same technology, but it's very similar. So for example, they will also use German submarine U-boat steel, which they also harden with a process called ice hardening. And then they will also have a similar black coating on top, which they call Damest. So this model comes in at a 43 millimeter wide. Actually, it's 44.2 if you include the bezel, by only 12.6 millimeter thick. So this is quite thin, and this is the advantage of this one compared to the Sinn, is that it has a manufacturer in-house movement. So Damasko has developed the A26-2, and that's in-house movement for which they manufacture up to 90% of all the components, which is quite good. It is 4 Hz, 42-hour power reserve, but if you look at it, it's actually, it is very industrial in look, but it has a full balance bridge. It has the patented EPS technology, which is basically a silicone hairspring. 20 jewels. Also, the rotor is on 20 ball bearings, so it should have a very smooth winding. You shouldn't be able to hear it, at least. The case also on this one has a patented crown technology also, which you can operate underwater. Apparently the tube, I think, of the crown is part of the case, so it is completely moisture and dust proof. So if you don't care so much about the in-house movement, you can also look at the other line, the regular D-Sub 1 line. That one comes in different color, or even without a black hardening, and at a lower price. And if you go with that one, you should also be considering the bracelet, because Damasko makes an amazing bracelet, all made in-house. So it's made of steel and also grade 5 titanium for all the screws, I think, and the joints. It is quite expensive. Comes in, I think, at 595 euro for the non-hardened version and 695 euro, I think, for the hardened version. But it doesn't taper. You can order it in 20 or 22 mil wide. It is an amazing bracelet, but you'll pay for it. But you need to remember that even Omega makes some of their bracelet in Zhuhai, China. So with Damasko, don't limit yourself to what's available on their website, because I don't know what, for some obscure reason, they don't have all their models on the website. You need to download the catalog, and then you'll have all the different models listed on there with all the pricing as well. Our fourth option is Glashütte Original Sport Evolution, which you can get pre-owned for about 4,000 US dollars. Now I know Glashütte Original is not known for divers, it's more known for elegant and dressy pieces. But back in 2007 they actually introduced the Sport Evolution line of divers. It was a first for them. It was a modern watch, and it was kind of underappreciated. They were probably ahead of their time. It didn't sell well, and in 2011 they discontinued it for only about 4 years. They were making about 7,000 pieces per year back then, so they probably made only about a few hundred of these, and that's why they are quite rare and they don't come up for sale on Forum or Chrono24 that often. But that watch was amazing. The bracelet especially was built like a tank, and Glashütte Original was the first brand to introduce the micro-adjust clasp before Rolex. Yes, before Rolex, they did it in 2008. So that watch came in different models, in the automatic version, the GMT, then there was a chrono model. The chrono didn't age very well, and then a perpetual calendar. It's 42 mil by about 13.5 for the automatic and 14.3 I think for the GMT. So about the same thickness as Omega Seamaster 300M. I tried both in the store, and they fit, I think, quite well on my 6.5 inch wrist. Now, this one came with a caliber, the same caliber that you find now in the CQ. But it's actually better, because in the CQ, the current catalog version, you can't actually see the caliber, and they've replaced the rotor mass by, I think, a cheaper metal, like tungsten, I believe. But in the original one back in 27, in the Sport Evolution, you could actually see it through a sapphire crystal case back, which is curved, by the way, and that's expensive to do. So they went all the way. Even expensive brands will put a flat one, so you could see it. And the rotor mass was 21 karat gold. It's hand finished. There is even a hand engraved balance cock on it. I mean, it's very good for the amount of money that these go for right now. This is one of my favorite watch that I came this close to buying. But the thing is, they were only available on the rubber strap, which it's fine, there's no problem. But I really want it on the bracelet, because that bracelet is amazing. I advise you to go and watch Tim Mosso from Watchbox review on YouTube about pick any of them, the Sport Evo, the automatic, or the GMT, or the perpetual calendar, and you'll see how he also raves about this watch. Ariel Adams from A Blog to Watch, back in 2008, I think, bought one. I don't know if he still has it, but also a very positive review. This is kind of it's a connoisseur watch. It's a watch that you buy only if you really know about it, if you know about the brand. If you see someone wearing a Sport Evolution, they're into watches. The Sport Evolution GMT is even rarer than the automatic. Both have the panorama, Glashütte Original big date, but the GMT even has a quick set date. Now, even true GMT, like the Rolex GMT Master 2, do not actually have a quick set date. Now, in terms of finishing, it may not have been as well finished as some of their more expensive and dressier pieces, but the dial, for example, is still made in Pforzheim. It's a very beautiful dial with different textures. So I think for this price, you can get into a high horology piece for cheap. So last but not least on our list is the Nomos TOKKANTE Sport Neomatic 42. That's a mouthful, and that comes in at 4,980 US dollars at retail. But let's be honest, you should be able to get less than retail on this. Now we have to talk about Nomos for any good value watch under $5,000, whether it's a diver or otherwise. Nomos is the largest German watch manufacturer by volume, and they provide excellent value under 5K or even above 5K actually. All their movements are in-house. I believe 13 different in-house movements. And the Tangante is one of the original 3 models launched by Nomos in 1990. There was the Tangante, there was the Ludwig, and then the Orion, or as the Germans would say, the Orion. Alright, so this model comes in at 42 mm by 10.9, very thin. Not technically a diver because it doesn't have a rotating bezel, but it's still 300 meter water resistant, and on the Nomos website they say it's suitable for diving. So it's more, look at it as your dressier diver or maybe your office diver, because let's be honest, most of us don't dive with our divers anyway. So if you're gonna use it as an office diver, then you should be looking at this one. If you don't want to have you can't wear a big Sinn at work and you don't want to have a wash and look at my big diver, then the Nomos, that's where it comes into play. Now the movement is fully automatic. Very well finished, blue screwed, full balance bridge, very nice for that price. You won't find better, and you can admire it actually through the sapphire case back. 20 mm lug width, and it comes with a fully in-house made bracelet made out of 145 different pieces. Very nice, very comfortable. I tried it on. The only letdown I think is the clasp. Not really a diver clasp, but again, not really a diver anyway. But I would like maybe in the next version of the bracelet that they come up with a better clasp. So definitely, for that price level, a very nice watch for you to consider. So in conclusion, these were 5 great divers to consider under 5K. If you didn't know some of these models, I hope I've helped to broaden your horizon a little bit and look beyond the usual Tudor and Omegas of this world. So are you different enough to try one of these divers? Let me know in the comment. As usual, ask yourself what makes you tick. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.